Hi there. Welcome to a different kind of video. Yes, I'm on JFS, but this isn't a JFS video. This is me talking about a topic that Shawston talked about, Muck talking about, Ace talking about Naxer, which is introversion, and social issues as a whole, as well as depression a little bit in there. I know Dennis talked about it a little bit ago when he was doing his questions, his Q&A question series. He mentioned some questions pertaining on it, but that I would consider that separate from this trend. So I want to talk about that, my opinions with that, because it's something I've wanted to talk about actually for a while now. This is a great time to do it, as well as like what that means with me personally, as well as depression, social anxiety, a little bit just about me and my story. A lot of the server members, they know bits and pieces here or there, but they don't know a lot about me personally, like the full thing, pertain to this topic, and about a little bit in the future, probably. So what's going on? The reason why I'm here is because I'm going to dig up gravel. I'm going to dig up a whole bunch of gravel, and this is the perfect place to do it. I'm going to get gravel for, that's odd, for concrete for the new update. I'll turn this down, since this is going to be mainly about me talking here. So, anyway. So, yeah, introversion. Yeah, everyone had some awesome points, some really valid points. I agree with and respect what everyone said, full-heartedly. I myself am an introvert. First of all, if you don't know if you are or not, some people may not know. Some people, people are ever changing. I'm soon to be 23. I'll be 23 in a couple of weeks, actually. The 27th, I'll be 23. And people change. Did I not? I thought I did the thing. Did I not do the thing? Thank you. People change. People are ever changing. I will continue to change. I don't think anyone at the age of 23 is who they will be when they're 25 or 30 or so on. So, for example, growing up, I was always very introverted. Very much so. Especially grade school, middle school especially. Those awkward years. High school's awkward, but to me, middle school is more awkward. And I was very much introverted. Now, as I became an adult, as I started working at the age of 16, dealing with the public, not just passing people in school. You don't have to talk to people in school, but working in retail in a grocery store, I had to talk to people. I had to greet customers. I had to ask them how they were doing and whatnot. So that made me more social. And I suggest, if you don't know if you are an introvert or not, taking your Myers-Briggs. I'll link it in the description if you don't know what I'm talking about. Myers-Briggs is a personality test, and very infamous. It's not like a BuzzFeed quiz. It's like a legitimate psychological test, and it's most commonly known on the website as 16 personalities, something like that. And the first letter of that, it'll break down the results, but the first letter of that is if you're introverted or not, and how introverted or extroverted you are. So, I'm an introvert. Like I said, I've always flip-flopped. I don't think I'm ever going to be like an extrovert again. I might teeter back into the introverted state, but not heavily. I think it's pretty much decided for me at this point. But and I'm okay with that. Dang it! Can I do it on that? No? I'm happy being an introvert. Honestly, like it doesn't bother me. There's no reason to. for it to bother me, and there's no reason for it to bother you if you are. Muck made a really good point about taking this server for granted. There's an ocean monument right there. And I agree wholeheartedly. Holy cow, did he make a great point. And I've always kind of thought this, but he made me realize it even more. So he mentioned that it's basically two different lives, right? So I've got my real life, got real life being Max, and then I've got, whenever I put on my headphones, I'm mixing. You know, I'm not Max anymore. The only reason anybody on the server knows anything about me in the real world is because I've told them. I chose that, you know. Had I not chose that, I would just be mixing, you know. And no one in the real world would know what I do online if it wasn't for me telling them that. So, yeah, there's that. I could honestly take the damage, by the way. I'm just deciding not to because it might hurt you. Maybe, I don't know. Or it might annoy you. Players. What if I just mute that? Will I hear the damage noise? Because I've tested it before and it takes like 10 minutes or something for me to start like dying. But anyway. This is weird now. No game sounds. Anyway, we'll try it out. Shoot. Anyways, yeah, whenever I put in my headphones, I'm mixing. I'm not Max, I'm mixing. And Shawston also talked about how he got his username and how people started calling him Shawston. And it's actually kind of the same exact story with me. A couple of good friends of mine in high school, we got on the topic of Spooner Eyes names, and my name, Spooner Eyes, is Dax Mixon. And they were like, oh, dude, that's an excellent DJ name. You know, your name should be Dax Mixon. And they would call me that as a nickname, as a joke, you know, as you do in high school. And, I mean, it stuck. And, you know, I played RuneScape at the time, as I've mentioned in the past. And, you know, they introduced name changing. And so I didn't want to be Kennard94 anymore. I wanted to be something more tolerable. And it was Dax Mixon. And when I started making YouTube videos, I'm like, I don't like having my full name out there. Not at first. I don't want... The only reason, not for, like, security issues or anything, I just don't want, like, people I used to go to school with and stuff, like, finding me on the internet is all. So, I just went by Newsman Mixon, because I've always had an affinity for broadcasting, so... And then I later got rid of the Newsman, now I'm just Mixon, so... Yeah, so it was funny to hear Shawston's explanation of his username, because it's basically the same as mine. But I agree with Ace full-heartedly, Ace and Muck. So there's two types of friends in this scenario. I mean, there's way more than that, obviously, but in this scenario, there's two types. There is real-world friends, and there's online friends. And both have major pros and cons. And, for example, real-life friends, I can hang out and go see a movie. You know, you have that tangible, textile exchange between them. You see them. You know, you actually see the people. Online friends, if me being an introvert, if I don't want to talk to them for 3 days, okay, I don't have to. You know, real life friends, like for example, I have 2 roommates. You know, I see them every day, unless it's, you know, one's traveling or something for whatever reason. See them every day, talk to them every day, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as an introvert, it can be a little taxing sometimes, especially if they're extroverted, which I would say they are for sure. Yeah, both of them are for sure. But I like to sit in my room on the computer a lot of the times and just do that. And there's sometimes, for example, like full already. That's great. You know, Ace mentioned sometimes he doesn't want to get on Discord. You know, he'll see people on Discord and he'll just want to be himself. And A lot of times my girlfriend of, oh man, it's over 2.5 years now. Whew, is all the social interaction I need. Um, so yeah, like if I don't want to talk to people on Discord, not that there's anything wrong with them, not that I don't necessarily want to talk to them personally. No, it's just sometimes I don't need that social interaction or want it. So I can go 4 days without talking to them, hop on like it's nothing. Or flip side of that, I can hop on, talk to them for 10 minutes, and say, hey, I gotta go. And they're like, okay, see you later. See you later. That's it. It's not. It's you can't do that with a person in the real world. You can't like start a conversation and be like, okay, I'm done talking to you now, and then just shut down and like not talk to them anymore. Like that's not a real life thing. So so that's my opinion on introversion and where I am, where I stand. I would say the majority of the people are introverted on the server. I would say the vast majority, but I don't want to generalize too much. The screen tilting is getting on my nerves, so I'm still gonna do that. Just get rid of that. And I want to turn my volume back up because it is a little odd to me. Okay, so I said I'd talk about a little bit about other things. Where am I at? About 11 minutes or so. I I have, even in the last year and a half alone, even since I've been on the server, really, but more previously before that, I've had, been a little all over the place as far as mental stability, referring to specifically depression. So, I'm not depressed. I'm not anymore. I've gone through it before. I went through it really bad about a year ago. Starting in about January to, I would say May. I would say about 5 or 6 months. It got really bad at points. I will say I've never been suicidal. I've always valued human life, including my own. Generic B puts it great, and he quotes someone else when he says this, but he says, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I couldn't agree more. Like, that's a great way to put it. A great mindset to have. Yeah, totally agree. The reason I was so depressed is because last January, I moved. And I've mentioned this before, but I moved from Springfield, Tennessee, the tiny town of Springfield, Tennessee, which is a little above Nashville, in between Nashville and the Kentucky line. Moved from there, and I moved to where I am now, to Jackson, Tennessee. And the reason being was for, believe it or not, my girlfriend I mentioned earlier. And our situation was we had dated about a year and a half at that point, and I was like, look, I'm getting tired of this whole long distance thing. It was about a 3-hour drive just to see each other. How we met is actually a funny story, and that's not for this video, but I'll talk about it sometime if any of you are curious. But I'm tired. She was in university at the time. She has since graduated, but she was in university at the time. I'm like, look, I'm working full time. There's nothing really holding me here but my family, and even then, it's not that huge of a deal. I need to move out anyway. So why don't I move to Jackson, and so we can see each other like all the time and spend time with each other and find out if this relationship's the real deal. So that's a hard part about long distance relationships as well. And anybody who's been in one for a long period of time will tell you this is. It's hard to gauge. You're totally different if you go from long distance to close distance or vice versa. It's totally different as far as you being people. It's a different experience as a relationship, and we struggled with a lot. we struggled with a lot, partly because I was depressed, and partly that caused the depression too. As far as like me being introverted, like I went from seeing her every week and a half to seeing her every day, and seeing her several hours every day, and that was an odd adjustment, and it was really hard. And I loved her, and I still love her. I mean, even more so now than then, but it was hard, and it was hard for her to understand. She is hella extroverted, hella extroverted. We are yin and yang when it comes to personalities, and that's one reason we work so well. Because I am very disorganized and laid back and just messy and kind of go with the flow and creative, and she's very structured and planning oriented, and she's creative too. But she's a lot more A-type than me. But so that was really hard. We had a lot of relationship issues, and my big problem was this is the first time I ever moved out, and I missed my family. And I missed them real hard. And it wasn't like, okay, I moved out and I'm 20 minutes away from them. It's, okay, I moved out and I'm not going to see them for a month. And if I need them, they're 3 hours away at the closest. So, boy, was it hard. And I eventually adjusted. We saw through our problems. That has since not been an issue at all. She understands I need my space every now and then, but I don't need nearly as much space as I did then. And, oh man, there were days. There were days where I didn't just want to get out of bed. All the classic symptoms. I'm not going to go through all that. A big problem with that, too, is my work situation. Worst job I've ever had. My boss was a blatant racist and psychopath. Like, I'm not, that's not a hyperbole. I'm not exaggerating. He was legitimately crazy. Oh man, it was rough. But, so all that combined, it was very rough. And I didn't know my roommates. Like, I moved in with people I didn't know. Which I got super lucky in that front. They were great people. But, the only person I knew was Andrea, and that's it. I didn't have any friends or family, and I lived with two people I didn't know. So, kind of overcame that, and I tell you what really helped me overcome it, and that was JFS. When was the contest? June, right? I can figure out the exact date. I went to a concert that day. Woke up and went to a concert that afternoon. So I know the exact day. And ever since then, wow, all the squids that popped in. Ever since then, it's been great. Loved it. Love all the people on here. I can't tell you how much this group of people have done for my mental health and well-being. Can't say it enough. It sounds so stupid. We're just a group of 20-year-olds playing online games. That's it, but I would not be where I am mentally if it wasn't for these people. And I mean it. And it's great. And what Muck was saying about taking it for granted, you do, I don't think about it. Like, I could message just about any of the active people on JFS and just start a conversation, I bet. It'd be a little weird because we don't really do that. We'll talk about a topic really as a group, but I can message Weather and be like, hey man, considering buying, Ocarina of Time versus, a Wind Waker. What's your take? What's your opinion on it? I'm considering, buying one, already on Wind Waker, but in this hypothetical example, I'm considering buying one, what's your opinion on it? And, I'm sure he'd be glad to tell me. It's just, and Weather's just an example, it's the first one I thought of, but it's like, it's amazing it's just amazing. This group of people that I've just become a part of because I built a silly little skyscraper. Like that's that's it. That's it. I mean, I built a silly little skyscraper and I had a YouTube channel. You know, like I wasn't 8, and I could place a bunch of blocks in Minecraft. That's it. And these people have done this to me. It's amazing. And that kind of leads... So, I mean, thank you all. Thank you to anybody who's watching this that had any part to do with anything. If you have talked to me, you know, in the past year since... well, I mean, since we've been on the server, I guess. But, then... Just thanks. It's weird. It's real weird. I'm trying not to get too sappy. I'm actually a very emotional person, and I'm trying not to get too weird. Some people might view this as weird, but I mean it. To all of you, thank you. But so since we're on a high note, let me bring you back down a little bit. I'm moving again. I'll be moving in May. Middle of May. About 2 months. And I'm moving back home. The reason being is I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. And my parents approached me at the end of last year and they were like, look, Max, you know, we never spent money on your education. I've taken some college classes and stuff. I don't have a degree. I'm not in college, as I mentioned before. And the college classes I've taken, I paid for. I saved up working, and I took, you know, just some basic core classes because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I know what I want to do now. It's go to cooking school, honestly. That's what I've wanted to do for a long time, but I finally decided, like, hey, this is what I want to do as a profession. And they were like, look, we spent X number of dollars on your siblings' education. We only think it's fair if we do the same for you. And I'm like, holy cow, yeah, because that amount will basically pay for me to go to a 1-year culinary school program in Nashville. I would have to move back home and live with them, though, because since I'll be going to school full time, I won't make enough to live on my own. Especially not in Nashville. Holy cow. It'd be like well over $1,000 for like a loft apartment. But anyway. And that is great news. In itself, that's great news. It's a step I have to take for my development as an adult. But there's so many downsides. Moving back in will be very odd, especially being a 23-year-old. I was very hesitant because I don't want to feel like I'm dependent. I hate feeling like I'm dependent on people. I'm a very independent person. Goes back to introversion too. That'll be odd. I will be apart from my girlfriend again, which is saddening. But she's also moving to California for school. She's going to gemology school, which is not a fake thing. That's a real thing. It sounds made up, but it's not. Yeah, it's to study gems and like classify and grade diamonds and various gemstones. And she works at a jewelry store now, and it's what she enjoys. And she wants to go to school for that. And she got a scholarship from Tiffany and Company. The one recipient for gemology this year, so it's crazy. Anyway, again, whole nother video. I could talk about that, but she's going to California for a year, so we're gonna be. I mean, I'll see her 3 times in a year. I think, you know, it's like 8 months or something. She's down there, and then she's gonna move to Nashville while I'm finishing up school. But that's very depressing. And then also, I just mentioned that JFS kind of lifted me up, and it's kind of guided me through things, and it's one of the reasons why I kind of made it through things, and I've developed these relationships. Moving back in with my parents, they have satellite internet, which I don't know if you know what that is. Also sounds made up, but basically, I will have 4,000 ping, anywhere between 2,000 to 4,000 ping. I will have a daily data cap. Not only is it a data cap, but it's an incredibly low data cap of 500 megabytes. On top of that, next to DSL speeds. Like, basically, the worst thing, it's pretty much worse than not having internet almost. And you may be asking, why don't they just get better internet? And you may be from a part of the country or a different country where this might not be conceivable, but there is not internet where my parents live. This is the only provider, and there is not another option. This is it, and trust me, I've looked for many, many, many years. They live way out in the country. I live way out in the country, in the backwoods of Tennessee, and that is the only option. So that means, not only does it definitely mean no more YouTube, for sure, like no more like uploading, well, no more watching or uploading. It means no more making videos, of course, but it means no more JFS. I can still talk to the people on the server. Man, I should have my mob farm running while I was doing this. I can still talk to them, I guess, via Discord through the app, but I'm not gonna be able to play games anymore. Not gonna be able to make videos, to join Discord, none of that. And sounds really trivial on the surface of it, but hopefully you'll understand the gravity of it a little bit more with me explaining the significance and what I went through with it. Yeah, so that's really hard, and videos on my channel have been really shoddy. Me playing on the server has been really shoddy. And that is mainly because, when it comes to videos on my channel, I'm kind of like, what's the point? It's going to be 8 months or longer. Sorry, I'm trying to find the most empty chest. It's going to be 8 months or longer before I can even do this again. So, why bother? I want to do so many collaborative series. I want to play with these people. I want to do a video. I want to do more creativers. I want to play a CTM map with people. I want to do some builds on the server. Play more Gmod. I don't know. Just all kinds of stuff. But I can't. Or I won't be able to in the future. And so, been kind of having a crisis with that recently. It's been kind of rough. Which, I get my family back, and family, honestly, is pretty much the most important thing there is. But I'm having that crutch I had pulled out from under me, and it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be real sad, but I'll be fine, I will be fine, but it'll be just be sad as all. Why are you watching this still? Why are you listening to this sad man and watching him craft bone blocks? I've been trying to get more stuff in my shops now that done with Skyblock. Pretty much sold through everything in all my shops, so I'm trying to stock up. But thanks for watching. I've talked way more than I intended to. Way more. If you stayed this long, congrats. Know that to everyone else who I mentioned at the beginning of this video that had talked about this discussion. Again, I agree, and respect you, and wish you the best. If whether you're trying to adapt with your introversion or overcome it, or do whatever with it. I just wish you whatever's the best for you. So, but that being said, again, I appreciate you watching. I do intend to do some more JFS videos very soon. I'm excited for 1.12. Hopefully it won't be too long. But next episode, probably work on my crane for my shop and get that going on. But until then, I will guess I'll see you around. If you have anything to share, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.